You ready? Okay. We're joined by University of Oklahoma quarterback Jett Huff, who threw for 5 touchdowns in UCO's 49-24 win over Fort Hays. Jett, what was working for you all offensively today?
Yeah, well, started early in the week. We got great looks from our scout team, the coverage they were going to run, and we knew what plays we liked against it. And Coach Curley couldn't have called a better game tonight, kind of taking advantage of the looks they were giving us. So I just think a great week of practice, prep for the game.
Fort Hays came in with the number 1 total defense in the MIAA, and you carved them up. Were you guys intimidated by anything, or was it just like, hey, this is just a team? We're going to take it to them like we always do.
Yeah, well, we treat everybody a nameless, faceless opponent, and we try to focus more on ourselves than we do the opponent. I think you can get caught up in certain players, certain teams, and stats and whatnot, and forget to focus on just getting better during the week. So we just approached it just like any other game, thought of it as a great opportunity to get better.
And you all scored 21 points in the first quarter, the first time in a couple of games you scored in the first quarter. How were you all able to get going offensively so early today compared to the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, I think, appreciate it. Just definitely, kind of like I said earlier, getting that look from the scout team this week. And we knew there were a few looks we were going to get that we thought we could expose and hit them deep, which is the 2 deep balls in the first quarter of the TD that you saw. That was heavy in the game plan, and we thought, if we get this, we're going to be able to attack it. So it was just a matter of going and executing, and Curley and Coach Pat up there seeing that and having trust in us to go make a play.
You had 2 interceptions against Kearney, and you come back here and you throw more touchdowns than you do incompletions. How does it feel to get a nice bounce back game, even though both games you won?
Yeah. Well, last week, you try to find a balance between, being hard on yourself, you didn't play your best, and being happy you won a big conference game on the road. So definitely, looked myself in the mirror and just said, we got to play better next week. We want to be a winning football team, and just really being detailed in practice this week, and everybody else around me just pulling me up, letting me know they got me.
You guys are now 4-0, a lot of momentum, a lot of hype for the first time here in a while. How do you all keep level, keep grounded, and still keep attacking every game as we have to go 1-0?
Yeah, we talked about it this week, actually, keeping a day one mentality. Day one of fall camp, we have nothing. We're 0-0, and we haven't really made a run in a while, and that's our day one mentality, was to get better and start winning games. And I think coming back next week, we keep that day one mentality, the same mentality we had, when fall camp started, being hungry, also being humble. I think that's how you can continue to be successful.
Have you guys thought about playoffs at all, or are you just taking it one game at a time?
One day at a time. We're focused on, we're going to enjoy tonight, and then we're going to start critiquing and film tomorrow, what went right, what went wrong tonight, and then we're going to focus on Monday's practice.
Now, you're leading the nation in completion percentage. Now, this is impressive. You're starting your first collegiate games, your first action in a while. How are you able to knock off the rush and come out so efficiently throwing the ball?
It's really the coaches. It starts with Doral, with belief in me, and Curley and Coach Brennan Sewell. They're just putting belief in me, and giving me opportunities to throw to good looks. And then it's the receivers and the O-line. We have great pass protection right now, and everybody on the field is making plays. So when it's just a combined group of people that are all helping me out, it really makes things a lot easier.
Anything else good? Well, thank you, Jett, and wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. We're joined by UCO wide receiver Terrill Davis, who tied a school record with 4 touchdowns today. Terrill, what was working for you in that first half?
Just my quarterback trusting in me, and the game plan was good, so it was a fun game.
Talk about the catch you had. I think it was 3rd down, and you catch it around midfield, had a defender on you. What's going through your mind when you're just seeing that ball? It's one of those 50-50 balls.
Just that my quarterback obviously trusted in me, and so I just got to make a play for him and for the team. So that's really what be going through my head.
Now, you had 9 targets, 9 catches, a little over 200 yards and 4 scores. How are you able to be so efficient? Like, you had some tough catches you came down with. How are you able to go up and get those 50-50 contested catches?
It's really nothing new. We practice it, and it's been happening all fall camp, so I just feel like I'm prepared and ready for any situation.
Now, we talked when you came on the podcast about becoming more consistent, right? You had flashes. Last year was a big step. So far this year, you've been extremely consistent. You've been one of the better receivers on a conference in the country. What has been working for you this year compared to years past?
I just feel like the new offense and my quarterback, Jett. Man, appreciate Jett just trusting in me. I appreciate my coaches trusting in me. And I feel like that's the big difference.
Tying records, you're breaking records. Were you trying to go for that 5th touchdown, or were you just like, you know what, I'm good, we're up?
It would have been nice, but I'm just glad we won. I'm glad. I'm blessed for the opportunity.
How do you keep this momentum going against Missouri Southern?
Like Coach has been saying, we just got to have a day one mentality and just keep that day one mentality and just come in every day knowing that we can improve on something.
Now, I know it's still early in the season, but you've been put up numbers there with some of the all-time greats at UCO, JT Loopers, the Josh Crockett's, among others. What does this mean to you to so far have the season that you're having, knowing you're up there with some of the best to ever play on this football field?
I'm just blessed, man. I'm thankful for the opportunity. I'm just grateful that I can come out here and do this, and I just want to keep it going. Every game I just reset and get ready to do the same thing over again.
Talk about how big this crowd was tonight.
Man, I'm thankful for all of the crowd, thankful for all of the fans, all of the students who come out. I hope that we keep on winning so they can come out. And shoot, with them out here like that, we just gonna keep winning. They give us so much momentum, and we thankful for y'all.
And I wanted to ask, because last week you all were up there in Kearney, there was brutal wins for you all for half the game, and you still scored 32 points. How were you able to overcome that and get offensively enough points to win the football game?
I just feel like we just stuck to the game plan, and our run game was super great that game. So I shout out the running backs, first of all, and I think that was a big key to us winning last week.
Well, Terrill, we're wishing you the best of luck.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
We're joined by UCO running back Jaylen Cottrell, who had a 79-yard touchdown run in UCO's 49-24 win over Fort Hays. Jaylen, what was working for you today?
I would say, again, up front, and really just being patient. I feel like our O-line did a good job working the double teams, getting to the second level, and just created space for me to do my thing. And, I came into this game with confidence and ran behind my pads and trusted myself. So, yeah, up front and trusting myself, really.
You struggled against Nebraska at Kearney. Tell me how it feels to just have one of those breakaway touchdowns like that in another 100-yard rushing game.
That's definitely a confidence booster for me. I was down last week. I had a little knick-knack injury. Came in the training room, got back to work, and then came out here. Had a good performance, I feel like, and it just boosted my confidence for sure and keep me going.
And I've touched on before your value in the pass game. You had a touchdown there, kind of on a scramble drill. Kind of walk me through how you were able to get open and score that touchdown.
Well, I didn't even think I was going to get the ball because I'm pretty sure I'm last progression in the read. Chipped the D in, helped out the tackle, and then I saw Jett start the ball and scrambling out. So I was like, okay, I got to get out. Started running towards me, so I ran upfield and threw me the ball and prayed to catch it. So yeah.
Okay. Now you were, I think, have the conference leading about 10.8 yards a carry. What does it mean to you to kind of coming off the injury play season you had last year to get off to such a fast start?
I would say again the O-line, they've done a good job of helping me out. I'm very confident running behind them. They do a good job again working the combos, getting to the second level, creating one-on-ones for me. So if they can keep that up, then yeah, this season will be fun.
And that perimeter blocking.
Yeah.
So now finally, you play Missouri Southern on the road next week. Some could say it's a trap game. What do you all have to do mentally to keep focused and go out there and play at the high level you played the past 4 weeks?
I just think we have to do what we preach every week, 0-0. We got to keep that mindset, day one mentality. We can't go in there thinking it's going to be an easy win. They've shown good fighting team, so we just have to go in this week really preparing to do what we do and not stoop down to the level of our competition. Just do what we do, don't do anything extra, and we'll be fine.
You good? Well, thank you, Jaylen, and we're wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you.
We're joined by UCO defensive back Willie Rice, who had several pass breakups in today's 49-24 win over Fort Hays. Willie, what was working for you individually out there in coverage today?
Just my fundamentals. Played every play, resetting, and just keep playing hard and hard.
So you had a couple of pass breakups in there. You're putting some great pressure on the receivers. You know, you're getting some more playing time as the season progresses. How do you go into a game where you're like, hey, I'm not starting yet, but, you know, they're going to put me in, I'm going to do my job?
I'm starting.
No, you're good. I'll try to reword the question. Just give me one moment. You know, how does it feel? You know, you're doing your thing, putting pressure on the guys. Like when you're going against receivers, what's the number one thing you look at in trying to guard them?
Well, I go first thing I look at is film. I watch their tendencies, what they like to do. If they like, if they're a deep team, intermediate team, and I just go from there and I lock in and just study my playbook.
How did you adjust whenever they changed quarterbacks? They went from Dawson to Heavy.
Well, I adjusted pretty well because I watched film, so I knew that he was more of a running quarterback and that he wanted to run the ball, so we just went with the game plan.
And you all had 2 or 3 goal line stands down there off of great coverage. How are you all, I know that the condensed field helps, but how are you all able to stay disciplined, stay with your man, not interfere in those situations?
Just trusting the guy next to me, playing our 111, and we're going to get the job done.
Yes. Well, Willie, we're wishing you the best of luck.
All right, appreciate it.
We're joined by UCO linebacker Jack Puckett, who had 8 tackles in UCO's 49-24 win over Fort Hays. Jack, what was working for you all defensively? They're holding a pretty good offense that had been scoring about 30 points a game to 10 in the first half.
Yeah, so basically for us, the game plan going in was just to have a fast trigger by our outside linebackers and try to funnel everything back in. Fort Hays does a great job of pulling their guys tight and inserting their fullbacks really tight, so we just had to match that and really not let anything squeak through.
The talk for most of the MIAA has just been about offense, how UCO's offense is doing. But the defense has been doing its part too and been playing really solid. You had 8 tackles. Do you guys mind being kind of the side story, the B story, whenever they talk about this team?
So I'd say for us, I mean, all in all, we love each other. We want to win games. And we can turn from the side story to something big pretty quick on a day that, say, the offense is struggling and we have to fall back on our defense. And we're wholeheartedly prepared to do that for these guys, just like they've done it for us, for example, when we played Central Missouri. So our time will come eventually, and right now we're focused on taking it day by day.
Last week, the run defense had some trouble against Kearney. You all did extremely well after you all were out there stifling the run, especially in the middle of the field. You had several tackles. What was the difference for you all this week compared to last week?
Yeah, so I'd say the main difference, if you will, is just resetting. It's a little more difficult to reset on the road, especially when you're 6.5 hours away from home. And I still think we did a solid job of it last week, but obviously we can improve on how quickly we were able to do that. But when you're at home in front of a good crowd that brings a lot of energy, it's much easier to reset. And specifically scheme-wise, I think we were a little more comfortable fitting off some of the things Hayes did.
You guys had 3 goal line stands. You had the interception by Kobe Stevens and the blocked field goal. Tell me how this team, they do great when their back's against the wall like that. Where does that come from?
Biggest one word for that, and it's culture. We've been building the culture, this team specifically, since the spring. Every time we had our backs put against the wall, we just quietly communicated, whether with words or without. The back end, the linebackers, the D-line, everyone, nobody stalled in the door, so to speak. We were ready for that challenge, and I feel like we performed well.
Now, you all, you're 4-0, best start in 20 years. How do you all keep up the momentum, keep the level-headedness that's gotten you so far this season?
We approach every day with a day one mentality. There's a lot of guys on this roster that have been here a while, and we know what it was like a year or 2 ago when we were down in the dump struggling a little bit. So approaching every day with the day one mentality of we're still the the little dog on the porch that needs to come and put in the work so that we can really have the right to show off what we've accomplished. That's how we approach day to day.
And finally, you're on the road next week against Missouri Southern. Some could say it could be a trap game given their struggles this year. What do you all have to do defensively to ensure you all can walk out of Joplin 5-0?
Yeah, specifically, I would say just go in and play our game. Start extremely fast and extremely physical, just like this defense is fully capable of doing. And as soon as we shut them down like we plan to, I think we're going to come out of there with victory. It's as simple as that.
Well, Jack, thank you very much, and we're wishing you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Ready?
Down good, yeah.
We're joined by UCO punter Grayson Miller, who had a punt down to the 1-yard line today in UCO's 49-24 win over Fort Hays. Grayson, what was working for you on your punts today?
Man, just a lot of prayer. I was prepping for him. But no, just swing through. It's kind of just, as long as I get my drop right and I swing through, good things happen. So
You had the punt down to 1, like Jonathan mentioned. When you're seeing that ball bounce, you're just like, guys, get there.
Man.
Don't let it go into the end zone. We're like, what's going through your mind as that ball?
Well, I love my gunners. Like Huey, it's my boy. He saved it on the 1, makes me look good. When he does his job good, it makes me look good. So I like that. That's awesome. He's the man.
And now you've done a good job of getting great bounces. A ball might land and then roll an additional 10, 15, 20 yards. How are you able to consistently do that?
Well, man, to tell you the truth, all I control is the drop and the kick. God does the rest. So that's all I got to say about that. Like, when you just kind of just happens or doesn't.
When UCO, because they've had the #1 offense in Division II, so when they are forced to punt, do you kind of look up like, oh, okay, it's my turn now?
It does kind of catch me off guard sometimes. I'm like, oh, I got to get a little bit warm. Because, man, we don't punt very often, but it is fun when we do, for me at least. I know the other guys don't like it a ton, but I do got to have to lock in a little bit because it doesn't happen a ton.
Now, given the limited opportunities, like, you put pressure on yourself, like, man, it's gonna be my only punt of the game. Like, I gotta nail this. Like,
You gotta put it away. That's the truth. That's the truth. Sometimes I go out there and I'm like, well, this could be my last one. Gotta make it a good one. But that's all I got, though.
So, 4-0 for the first time since 2004. How do you, as the special teams unit, when you're doing good, nobody says anything. When you're doing bad, they talk about it a lot. How do you guys keep a level head out there?
We just keep doing our jobs, We're taught to do it a certain way. We perform. And, if we're not getting chirped at, we're doing a good job. And it's really the main thing. Sometimes it's a thankful job. Sometimes it's a thankless one. But just go out there and do the job.
and now last year you split time with David Vargas at punter. You're taking over the reins for David.
Yeah.
How did David help you grow as a punter and kind of put you in the position that you're in now?
That's a good question. He taught me a couple things. But, the most important one was he always said, when you have a miss hit, when you screw up, let it go. It's in the past. It's dead and gone. Focus on the next one. Put the next one away. So it was mostly a mindset thing. David taught me a lot about moving on, getting your head right, and not trying to kill the ball, just swinging the way you usually do.
Is there a difference punting on artificial turf like this and natural grass?
To tell you the truth, I've never punted on real grass.
Oh.
Unless it was in practice or something like that. But all the teams we play are on artificial, so it's not too much of an issue usually.
And now last week against Kearney, the wind was brutal up there. That's how does that affect you as a punter? Because I feel like you have to change the trajectory of your kicks.
Yeah.
Like how tough is it to adjust to that kind of wind?
Well, you just gotta lower your drop table, get it low, try and keep it underneath the top of the wind, just tight spirals. So you just change mechanics. That's about it.
Well, finally, Grayson, how do you feel like you have to continue to do to continue to have the strong season of punting that you had so far?
Oh, definitely just focus on the next day. It's a practice deal. We talk about winning practice, right? And so it's every day. How can I go out there and if this was a game day, am I winning? Am I hitting bombs or no? So it's just one day at a time. If you start getting too worried about the future, you kind of forget what's right in front of you. So that's what I'd say to that.
Well, Grayson, thank you, and best of luck.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.